rack deadlift. Rack deadlift can be done without a rack. Basically, all we need to do is elevate the plates so they're off the floor. Typically, when we perform these, we'll do them right below the knee. You can obviously do them from a multitude of heights. It doesn't have to be right below the knee. It can be even higher. But the rack deadlift is a great way to not only teach people how to deadlift with less range of motion, but also provide some variance to our training, as well as work that top range of our deadlift, okay? So in group classes, a lot of times CrossFit affiliates don't have racks like these. If you don't have a rack, you can easily set this up with 45-pound plates. 45-pound plates are about 4 inches per plate. So if you set up 2 of them on each side with the plates on top, then you can perform this movement. However, it's going to require more 45-pound plates, obviously. So what you want to do is put people into groups of 4 to 5 people if you have bigger classes, or you can even obviously go smaller groups. But we're going to do these for max effort or might be for a repetitive method. So you can put people into larger groups because they're going to be resting longer between sets, and you should be able to get this to work out pretty well. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate from a rack, and again, it's set up right below my knees. Your execution is relatively the same. The only thing is you want to set up so that bar is basically right over your first shoelace. If you set up too close to the bar, it's going to put you in kind of a funky position, and when you lower yourself down, you're going to naturally push the bar away. All right, so set up first thing where your knees are actually not touching the bar, because when you go to get into that setup position, we want to have a similar position that we would have if the bar was on the floor, okay? Another great thing about this is it allows people that aren't able to get into thoracic extension the ability to do that because there's less range of motion. So again, this is a great teaching tool, and it's great for variance, and again, another tool in our toolbox, okay? So what it should look like is your setup position for your deadlift. Again, bar over the first shoelace. Get your mixed grip. Arch, big breath into your core, and then extend, okay? And then we're gonna lower it down, same way, reset up. These aren't going to be touch and go, okay? So you're gonna go through, about three reps for your first couple warm-up sets, and then typically we'll do a ton of sets of 1, so up to a 1 rep max for these. From time to time, we'll vary the rep scheme, but more times than not, you're gonna see this for a max effort for a 1 rep max, okay? So that's a rack deadlift. Again, if you're doing it in group classes, it can still be done, but just keep in mind that it is going to require you to have the ability to get the plates up off the floor, whether it be with plates, with mats, maybe you have blocks, whatever the case may be. Make sure that the bar is starting off from a certain position, and then when you retest this down the road, we retest it 12 to 16 weeks later, we want to make sure that we have the exact same setup. So when I do these out of a rack, I'll note what pin I use. So right now it's set on pin 3. If I was doing it from the floor, off of plates, I'd make sure that I could denote what I did so I'm comparing to apples the next time around.